afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another spoiler log tournament race. Today we will be seeing winner bracket round 2, jwiste versus GasPoweredPogi or Pogi. So I'm going to hand it off to our two commentators tonight, Claire and Egg. How are you both doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah, doing pretty well. This should be an interesting one for sure.
I don't know. I'm either on a ban list or the please roll for me list. So what do you guys think about the seed today?
Oof.
I've seen worse, but it's not free at all. I'll say that. There's definitely some pretty clunky stuff going on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting just to see Pogi and Jay. Their routes are going to be interesting. That's what the main interesting thing is going to be here.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different ways you could go about it. So we may see some decent route diversions on this one.
Alright, I'm gonna mute and let you guys talk about the seed then. As we wait for our runners to start, they have about 2 minutes or so.
Well,
Maybe a
thanks
little
so
less.
much.
Alrighty,
All right,
good luck.
good.
Yeah, so this one should be pretty exciting. Without spoiling too much, there are a couple, like I said, a couple of clunky things. We will need to get a wallet today. I'll be curious to see which ones that the runners go for. Neither one of them is that great. And the bows are kind of interesting too, we'll see.
And the bows are like kind of free. Not
Yeah,
too free,
I guess
but
they're just annoying is more what I was thinking.
Yeah.
A little bit of a forced order there. But lots of stuff in dungeons, so hopefully the dungeon routing should be pretty interesting this time around. But a couple things dotted around the overworld, so I'm assuming we're going to see some super swims from these runners. I'd be very surprised if we don't.
Alright, looks like we're going to be less than a minute away.
Yep, hopefully everyone is ready in chat and the hype. I'm excited. This should be a fun one.
It's going to be a fun one, yeah.
Also, I guess we'll have to see too. I'm curious to know if either of the runners is going to end up saving Grandma this seed. They'll be right there. Spoilers. They'll be there, but I'm not sure if they'll go for it.
No.
The bottles, well, they probably won't be getting the bottle that's on ankle. I'm sure that. But the other ones aren't super great either.
No. Well, all we can do is wait and see.
All right, and just like that, we are off at Great Fish Island. But we're going to probably be heading out of here pretty quickly, I imagine.
We see Jay and Pogi going immediately for outside. Only one check here today.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they end up coming back. I'm assuming we're not going to be seeing Grandma today if they're both here already. Understandable, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hear Grandma's keeping something in the basement. As Pogi makes his way underneath there. jwiste right behind. Probably about, like, not even a second difference between these two. And that also might be my desync, so...
No, it's pretty lined up. They're pretty close. Grandma housing a grappling hook for us today.
And that's all we need on outset, so... we should be peacing out of here pretty quickly. And yes, the bottles are kind of rough, so I don't think we'll be seeing Grandma today.
Starting moments.
Both going to be heading to Windfall now. A couple things that we need to pick up here. Pogi grabbing a little bit of rupees. Gonna need just a tiny bit of money this run. Not too much.
Both are gonna talk to Miss Marie real quick.
Yes, lots of catching kids today. I guess they're both going to maybe do it at the same time. Not sure.
Maybe. Jay making his way to Maggie. Meanwhile, Pogi.
Pogi heading to the usual storage spot on Windfall, one of them. Lenzo does have a couple items for us. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a door cancel up there. Picto box is not required this seed with that skip.
Not at all. Meanwhile, Jay went inside, got the House of Well chest, having our bow today.
The only bow that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And yes, it looks like Pogi is obviously getting that door cancel. Going to be turning on the lights using the hide and seek game. The very standard setup.
Mm-hmm.
Usually just helps to make it go that little bit more consistent and a little bit faster if you don't feel confident doing it blind.
Yeah.
In fact, both runners turning the lights on, doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine they're both going to make their way up to Lenzo and then catch some kids. Oop, Pogi landing on the wall awkwardly and actually going to fall down to the water while jwiste gets in. That's unfortunate.
Small little setback for Pogi. Meanwhile, Jay picking up a note to Mom.
Yeah, I know. Imagine if somebody put together a nice blind door cancel setup, but that's fine. I'm not upset. Pogi landing on the wall again. This is... and actually hitting the loading zone on the lower door. That is awkward. Especially if he's not confident doing it blind. You can get lights back on with the end of hide and seek, so he may be going for that instead now.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hello, Elijah.
As jwiste is going to cruise around Windfall and do sort of the standard kid order, picking them up. jwiste managing to get Ivan. Ivan can be kind of a scoundrel occasionally.
A little troublesome.
Pogi with a nice side hop is also going to hit Ivan. You know, I've always wondered, I keep forgetting to time out if it's faster to check the behind the gravestone from the left or the right side based on that cutscene.
I don't know if there even is a difference.
I always thought it was faster to do it from the right because he jumps down sooner, but he might run on the ground longer. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Right side.
So we'll see if Pogi ends up doing the door cancel with the kid. Turning the lights back on, that is.
Yeah. And the kid's having Pearl for us.
Yep, and as he heads over this way, I assume that is the plan. jwiste is going to grab storage as well. I think we saw him practicing this before the race. So we'll see what he does here.
Yeah. Alright, Pogi's gonna attempt door cancel again. Jay...
Yeah, having just a bit of trouble with the storage spot. This one can be a bit awkward. A couple different heights that it can drop you from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and store that gentleman's text and set up for double storage here.
Meanwhile, Pogi chasing kids in the dark.
This is why I don't like doing this one. This kid is easy to catch with the lights on and is almost impossible. Not almost, but you know what I mean.
Speaking of,
he actually managed it pretty quickly, yeah.
If you guys are photosensitive, please avert your eyes from jwiste. He is just super swimming at the moment.
Good call. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and take that double storage over to Crescent Island. Because Crescent does have something for us today.
Pogi redeeming this strat, getting back in. He's going to pick up his Note to Mom and his Iron Boots.
So Jay went ahead and stored the delivery bag that's up on Crescent. And we're going to do, using that double storage, we're going to go for another swim.
Where he's swimming to today. Look like going back to Windfall for
I'm going to go ahead and grab that air refill off the side. And Deanie may or may not be on to something there. No Forsaken Fortress this seed, meaning no Skullhammer necessarily required.
And Pogi picking up his bow.
Jwiste with a very clean swim makes it to Thorned, and we're going to go ahead and ESS through that wall. Skullhammer need not apply. Very, very clean.
Yes, it is.
Looks like Pogi is also going to make his way up to Crescent Island. Delivery bag is required. All for that one note to Mom that we picked up in Lenzo's. It was so close to not being needed, but that's how it's going to be.
Thorn Fairy housing our hook shot today.
We'll be popping by Wind Temple, so no skipping the hook shot today. No hovers, unfortunately.
Darn. Pogi picking
I'm
up
still
his
waiting for the tournament match where the hover is optimal. That'll be cool. That'd be hype as heck.
That would be a very interesting race to watch. Commentate even. Jay going back, warping back to Windfall, but he will be sailing away. Looks like he's going to be heading towards Northern Ferry.
Yep, Northern is going to have a hard required item today for us. And Pogi, meanwhile, looks like he's making his way back down to Paw Print. We're going to be seeing this island a lot, I imagine. Randomized entrances, putting a lot of stuff here today. Looks like we're going to go ahead and use that delivery bag. I actually don't remember how much it costs on Paw Print. Looks like it is only 5 as well.
I'm pretty sure the price is the same, I thought.
It depends on how close you are to Dragon Roost Island. I know Windfall and some of the other close islands count for only 5, so... Very, like I said, very small amount of money needed, so...
Yeah. Alright, Pogi entering Paw Print. We're going to see him scale the wall. While Jay picks up the first Master Sword upgrade of this seed.
Yeah, Choo Choo Cave actually pretty loaded today.
Very loaded.
Can actually be picking up a couple things here. Well, potentially.
Oh, yeah. Clean house real quick here at Paw Print.
Very convenient place for some bombs, though.
Mm-hmm. Too convenient, I add. Pogi picking up pearl number 2. Not going for...
Yeah, so it looks like Pogi's actually opting out of picking up the power bracers. Not required. So it would be a slight time sink. I know sometimes some runners will like to grab them just because they can be quick.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to switch to bombs. Don't have to get knocked on your butt.
Yeah.
We'll see what Jay ends up doing. That's one of those when you're routing, trying to gauge, like, okay, if I pick these up, I'm going to lose, what, 10, 15 seconds? Can I make up 10, 15 seconds on my route? And this is where it's the questions like that separate the top runners, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things. One of the many things.
Yeah.
Strat
In the
knowledge,
meantime,
execution, also important.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Pogi making his way to East Ferry. Let's get a check mail real quick.
I'm gonna get Earth Gods from Kamali's father. We don't actually care about that one. But we are gonna get the Cabana deed. And it looks like he may be passing time so that we can get that note to Mom as well.
Meanwhile, Jay just finishing up his paw prints.
Yep, also opted not to go for power bracers. Not that I'm too surprised. But I was curious.
We'll see what's here at Eastern.
They're actually going to both end up high-fiving on the island together here, potentially. Both on Eastern. Jwiste has visited Thorned, though.
Yeah.
So there is the advantage of the hook shot that was picked up there.
Yeah. But Pogi does have all 3 pearls now. Shortly, Jay will... Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Jwiste also having to sift through the many letters that came in. Link, very popular in Hyrule.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of fan mail.
It looks like Pogi will be entering the dungeon entrance of Tower of the Gods.
So it can actually go for an early Wind Temple, which is interesting. But that's fair. Wind Temple does have a couple nice items in it.
Yeah. Gonna take
Gonna have to deal with that Wizrobe with a basic sword, but made that look easy. I'm jealous of quick spins of that caliber. I cannot seem to hit quick spins myself, and it frustrates me to no end. Jwiste with the 3rd pearl as well. We'll see if they as well head out to an early Wind Temple or not. Leaf, this seed is very inconveniently placed, which can always be a bit frustrating.
Pogi picking up fire and ice arrows. Looks like
I'm actually going to go ahead and save warp out, which, that's fair. I imagine he plans to come back after getting the 3rd bow.
Just to make things go quicker.
Looks like Jwiste is going to head off to boating course. Boating course is actually going to house the Cabana Labyrinth today. Currently, neither runner has the Skull Hammer, but there are ways of getting past without needing it, so and I imagine they're both quite accomplished at it. It's just another place in the game where there's just a conveniently spaced gap that you can squeeze through.
Convenient.
But yeah, no Skull of a Hammer means we are going to actually have to crawl through the crawl space. And even though we don't see it too often, Jay is going to show that they are very aware of what the routing is. I remember in the past having to look it up occasionally. Seems like he's a little unsure where the spot that you sidle is. And there we go, we found it. So that gap in the bars is just big enough to let you squeeze past, which is hilarious.
Meanwhile, Pogi's completing a platform, looking for chest storage.
I imagine he's going to be going to get some chest storage. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's over by Thorned. I imagine this is his path in without Skullhammer.
Yeah.
The Skullhammer is all the way on the Wart Maze, which is at Headstone Island, so it's a little bit out of the way. I can imagine them not wanting to go get that.
But during Pogi's blowing up of the platform here, Jay does pick up Mirror Shield and he does warp back to Tower of the Gods.
And for anybody looking at the tracker, I'm sure you've noticed that Earth Temple is not in logic in this scene. Which, for anybody used to these settings, they probably know where we'll be ending up going with that Mirror Shield later. We will be seeing Angular.
Go anyway. Might as well. Angles are nice. They're precise.
We'll see if Jay ends up doing any other leafless checks in Wind Temple. Or if they opt as well to grab this bow and head out just like Pogi. You can get through Wind Temple leafless, it's just a bit annoying.
Woofer.
And we are going to see a save warp there, so.
Pogi did pick up. Oh! Gets knocked right back into the fairy cave.
I've definitely done that before. It's a bit awkward. The fairy says, no, get back in there. I'm not through with you yet.
I have more gifts.
And we're going to see Pogi make his way to Forest Haven. Wouldn't surprise me if we go down and grab that Mirror Shield as well. Meanwhile, Jay heading towards the private oasis. We did, in fact, pick up Cabana Deed. It was quite conveniently placed on mail, so we will not have to do the clip-in. We can just do the vanilla strat. I still think it's crazy that the teacher on Windfall gives you this whole island and house for like 10 necklaces. It doesn't seem like the best trade deal, but
Who are we to argue?
I'm not a real estate agent, so what do I know?
I doubt the child knows anything about house marketing.
So at this point, I would say that both of our runners have locked in, shall we say, which wallet they are picking up today. So Jay is going to be grabbing a wallet here from Angular. Wallet mail will lead us to our leaf today. The other wallet was on the ghost ship. So I was really curious to figure out which one they'd go for. It's not too surprising this one is the answer, but they did have to make that whole trip to go pick up the Mirror Shield.
Yeah.
Like I said, kind of interesting scene. I definitely agree with the route on both runner sides.
Man, Jay, like we were saying, got wall upgrade. Pogi is going to be getting his Mirror Shield.
Now if he manages to find the Tingle Rupee, we'll be able to hold the whole thing. Wow. Except that won't be happening today. I think that was on like some platform somewhere. I looked it up. I don't remember. I apologize to all the Tingle Rupee fans. And we're going to finally manage, after lots of pain, to get the leaf from the wallet. Pogi, meanwhile, is actually making his way to Ice Ring from Boating Course. This is going to be the main reason why we picked up the bow from the beginning of Wind Temple.
Yeah, Rainbow Rupee was at a platform at 7-star. Now that's a way of thinking, Elijah. Both runners making their way to Ice Ring.
jwiste does have the leaf here, so should be able to skip the annoying platforming on ice physics. Which is the only place in the entire game where they added ice physics. Because I think even Nintendo realized that this is not good.
Yeah.
So Jay gonna make up a little bit with the leaf skipping that second one.
Oh, Ice Ring Vanilla.
Vanilla Ice Ring. And what does it have? Something good, I think. It's gonna have our light arrows today. So forced light arrows here on the Ice Ring Cave.
Yes, Woofer, I actually have one of my all sanity seeds. It was like that. It was Joy Pendant, Greg, and Knight's Crest, all inside Beetle, expensive Beetle.
And we're gonna get this slightly spooky timer little, I guess, bug that can happen with the randomized entrances.
Mm-hmm. Double time.
Yeah, there you go. But once the island gets unloaded, it's gonna go ahead and go away.
Yeah. Pogi making his way to Private Oasis as well. And it looks like Jay will be going to Fire Mountain.
Yeah, I like that little boat route that Pogi did manage to save warping around just a bit. Boating course to Ice Ring to Private. But yeah, once we make our way up the semi-dormant volcano, well, I don't know. I guess it's not dormant. It was just erupting a second ago. Just seems more dormant now. We are going to make our way to our technically second, but kind of first dungeon this seed. Seeing as we sort of just peaked at Wind Temple and then went, see ya.
DRC first on the list. DRC being a little loaded this seed.
Yeah, lots to get inside of DRC today. Nothing too exciting, but lots of required items.
Meanwhile, Pogi climbing some stones to get
Now we do have a couple things to get partway up the climb in DRC, but I imagine we are going to see both runners shoot the platform as Jay starts setting up that their shots. I guess lining up is their real way of saying that.
Yeah. Yep, Pogi picking up his wallets.
Slightly realigning on is Jay. Getting the second rope, and I'm sure the third will be shortly to follow. Pogi looks like they're setting up a super swim here, or at least grabbing storage. I'm imagining we're going to end up seeing a swim. Unless there's somewhere he wants to take chest storage too, now that I think about it. But
where else would you see chest?
Not sure. Yep, and actually definitely is going to be setting up a swim. So
right, if you guys are photosensitive, please avert your eyes away from Pogi for a few moments.
And Jay, meanwhile, with the platform down and a key acquired, we are going to go ahead and ride up and skip the majority of DRC by just riding that platform. Though we will need to backtrack for a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and open up the blue warp.
Ever got storage just to have it? I don't think so.
Looks like Pogi is making his way to Cliff Plateau. Meanwhile, we're grabbing cheese from under a bird over on Jay's side. Air a little bit tight on Pogi. Ugh, goes past the island, no.
Oh no.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. It's okay, quick warp, and we're gonna end up making our way there just fine. I always hate to see a super swim go awry. It's a strat that'll save you a couple seconds if you hit it, but it loses like 20 if you miss it.
Yeah.
Gonna grab our second cheese from inside of DRC. And Jay pulling bombs out as you go through those barred doors saves a couple, well, I would say a couple seconds, saves maybe like a second and a half to Link having to turn around to look at those. Kind of a cool little time save.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Pogi's gonna check some more fan mail. Getting Leaf.
Always feels good to get the Deku Leaf finally. I always think I'm like naked in this game without it. It's so ingrained in movement that when you don't have it, it feels wrong.
Yeah, and we're gonna see divergence. We see Pogi here at Forbidden Woods. Meanwhile, Jay still finishing up everything here at DRC.
Yep, and just a little bit here that we have to pick up at Forbidden Woods. But otherwise, a generally pretty quick dungeon. As Jay approaches the boss door, we are going to go ahead and just grab the conveniently placed big key. And if the Magtail will release their treasure, we'll also be able to open up this chest, which is even more cheese in DRC today.
Such a cheesy dungeon.
Yep, half of the Triforce alone here today.
Yeah.
Pogi, meanwhile, looks like you're gonna grab storage. All targeting being a little unfriendly.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little side hop into the bulb, though. Meanwhile, Jay making his way through all the different cutscenes that make up Goma.
The cutscene boss.
You have just enough to do that you can't completely tune it out. But I've definitely had a race where I still needed to route Wind Temple, and so I just did it during Goma.
I mean, it makes sense.
We have a little bit of time. Pogi with the chest storage, gonna go ahead and climb up this left side vine here. The small key in Forbidden Woods is located all the way down in the basement. And seeing as we don't need anything else from down there, I imagine both of our runners will not be grabbing it.
Makes sense now, too.
Gonna open up the blue warp and I imagine make his way up past the vines.
Just like that, Jay beating Zelda. And he's going to obtain his 4th piece of cheese.
And a Triforce shard for Pogi from that chest. Looks like we are going to make our way towards Calidamos. We'll be able to get a good big key check. So the big key is in this room with Pogi right now, or will be in a second. I assume he should be opening up this chest, but I have seen runners store this with big key. Sometimes you get so used to how free the big key skip is in Forest that you forget to look.
Yeah. Forest
Pogi passing the check is going to grab the big key. And going to go ahead and enter Calidamos. No boomerang, which means we will probably see bow or bomb strats. Looks like Pogi's going to opt for bow strats. The basic sword is going to make it a bit difficult. Hopefully he's able to get in some good damage. I know I really struggle with the hero sword one cycle, so I usually try to avoid it whenever I can.
Here we go. Almost
some pretty solid damage. Yeah, unfortunately no one cycle. We do have bombs though, so we may be able to just get a single bomb hit and finish this off quickly.
Hopefully. Meanwhile, Jay made his way to Forbidden Woods as well. We'll just make it his start here.
Let's see if they get this bomb to land. And just like that, we are done with Calidamos. Without too much pain.
Yeah. Pogi will be picking up shard number 2.
Yep, so lots of Triforce shards in dungeons today. In fact, all of them in dungeons today.
The dungeon heavy seed. With some overworld here and there.
Yep, so pretty much just rush your items and then rush your dungeons.
Pretty much.
Jay's actually going to go ahead and climb up on the right side here. There is a seam that you can walk along if you have chest storage. And get to the flower. This saves having to wait for the cycles of those little arm things moving up and down.
Yeah. You know, we're going to see Pogi warp to Windfall, probably going to go back to Wind Temple.
And then a very clean small key skip for Jay. And we're going to grab that Triforce shard that Pogi picked up earlier. Forbidden Woods, even if you have a little bit to grab, it still tends to be a pretty fast dungeon.
Just wonder where they routed Tower of the Gods.
Unfortunately, that bomb throw from the center island not quite hitting that left side flower.
Oh, speaking of Tower of the Gods, Pogi has just entered Tower of the Gods.
Looks like Pogi's going to opt to get the skull room small key instead of the mini boss. I think that's fair. It does have flight arrows, so the Dark Nut would probably go down pretty quick. but I imagine this is still probably a bit faster.
Mhm.
And yeah, Jay also passing the big key check test and grabbing that from the double moth chest. So far, no big key skips, but I am imagining that is going to quickly change with Tower of the Gods. Jay going to try and get these shots on Calidamos using the fire arrows. Has 3 so far. 1 more would do it, or 1 bomb.
And there we go.
Very clean. I've actually never seen that really low angle for that shot. Usually people kind of fire off a couple at the beginning and call it a day, but I do think Jay's been labbing that just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool to see, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Pogi waiting for the water cycle just to skip first floor. And just like that. Uh-oh.
Let's see if Pogi ends up getting trolled by the rats or the Beamos. This is one of my least favorite rooms in Tower of the Gods. I've given up side hopping through it. I just think it ends up trolling you so much more when you can't see. The rats can do some strange stuff when they're off screen, I swear.
Rats in general are just very annoying.
As Jay warps to Windfall, I'm imagining you're going to see both runners end up in Tower of the Gods. Jay, however, will be up DRC on Pogi. Although Pogi's made about half progress through Tower of the Gods so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is going to be one of my favorite skips. I love this statue grab. It still makes me happy. It's so free, but looks really impressive. And it feels really cool to do, in my opinion. And it's so much faster than slowly leading that statue through that room.
Oh, yeah. So nice to go fast here, yeah. Jay opting to go get the small key here.
Neither runner wants to go for the left side 4-1 skip. That's fair. I think they're both going to grab that key and save for it.
Let's see what our hard-acquired stone tablet item is for today.
I actually don't remember. I definitely looked at it, but I forgot. This will be a surprise to me, too. Oh yeah, that's right, the compass. How useful.
Oh boy. I mean, we can't get lost now.
It's true, we'll know exactly where that tingle chest is. Statue was trolling jwiste just a little bit, but gonna go ahead and get that 4-1 skip. Managed to leaf pump all the way to the door, so it doesn't have to wait for the water. As Pogi enters one of the, I guess I would call it trickiest rooms in Tower of the Gods.
Yeah.
The second command melody skip can just be troublesome sometimes. Does have a setup though to get that angle.
Yep,
As long as the side hops are clean, it shouldn't be too bad.
3.
And through with no
Yes.
problems.
Getting attacked by some bubbles.
And I suppose that is true. That's the first command melody skip, but it's the second statue. Semantics. What are you going to do? So Pogi just with a little over a statue lead on Jay. As to anyone who has not watched a lot of Wind Waker, we'll start to see this is part of the reason why Tower of the Gods is one of the slower dungeons in the game. Lots of looking at statues on platforms.
The statues. Now for the least favorite statue grab of this dungeon. This room, specifically.
But first, one of the unexpectedly difficult tricks of Tower of the Gods, which is actually throwing the bomb with good timing to break that wall. For whatever reason, more difficult than it has any right to be.
Yeah. But hey, at least he killed the keys and doesn't have to worry about the keys now.
That's true. I've actually started just shooting those keys as long as I have the arrows to spare, just because if you get into that room with the statue and you don't spawn the Wizrobe and the keys are already gone and it's just empty, it's bliss. Pure and simple.
I have to take this call real quick. Give me a few minutes, alright?
No worries. I'll ride Silva for just a bit. Pogi gonna go ahead and grab his first sword. Finally joining the Master Sword team. I'm gonna go for the cute little leaf to skip the second statue on the balance. I love that strat too, it's very satisfying. Interesting, Pogi going to the left side. Don't often see people do that. Not that it actually matters. We will be seeing a Wizrobe spawn for Pogi. There is a trigger to spawn a Wizrobe when you return to that previous balance room. You can float over it, but if you drop lower and hang from that statue, it usually does spawn. Not a huge problem. We do have light arrows, but just one more thing to make this room that much more annoying. As we see Pogi getting cooked just a tiny bit. A little medium done. I'm gonna go ahead and do our nice physics-based puzzle here. As Jay finishes up the second statue, so runners are about to high five at this doorway. And there they go. Let's see if Jay can get the wall break. Does it first try, makes it look easy. I don't know what it is. I think if you get it the first time, it's not so bad. As soon as you miss it once, it's so easy to miss it 10 times more with those bombs.
Yeah. Alright, and I am back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Don't worry, it's Tower of the Gods. Just missed a little bit of cutscene action, but I'm sure you'll live.
Only cutscenes. Oh, goodness.
So big key today was actually at the top across the floating boxes. So
big key is free today.
Oh yeah, totally free. So I imagine we're going to see both runners skip it, seeing as they've well passed it at this point. So Pogi's going to go ahead and get that set up here first. For a second there, I got worried as he ran in front of that chest that he was going to open it, but
Yeah.
going to go ahead and grab storage. Off the tall chest can be kind of awkward, but not too bad.
I've never attempted bomb storage off of a boss key chest.
The timing is just different enough to make it, you know, not quite the same thing as normal. But Pogi got it really quickly, so that's good to see.
Yeah, Pogi.
Let's see if Jay gets trolled by these keys a bit more. It's not looking pretty there, the first time through. Like I said, I've started killing them because I honestly think my average time in this room will actually go up without the keys there. Like, yes, it's technically slower, but the number of times I've gotten hit by keys.
It saves the headache.
Yeah. Pogi gonna go ahead and take out these BMOs.
I've never seen Pogi attempt this big key, nor have I actually seen people actually attempt the big key skip here. But this is a new sight for me.
It's not too bad. As long as you remember to kill the enemies, specifically that right BMOS and the birdies, and as long as the wind is set the right direction, which Pogi just double-checked and it was, it's not too bad.
Alright.
That hop to the wall is a little sketch, but you ESS walk, hit it, get the mid-air jump, and should be able to get through that wall no problem.
And just
a very nice big key skip.
Very good, very good.
And often many people's favorite boss, Godin. It can be a bit trolly with those hands.
Luckily,
looks like Jay may be going for an arrow refill here. He is. I'm not sure what his arrow count was, but obviously not enough to their liking.
Yeah. But, for those that don't know, having the elemental arrows early and using them here in this fight, it actually kills or shuts down the hands quicker. Instead of using 2 shots, you use 1 shot.
Yeah, for whatever reason, doesn't do double damage to the eyes. So those will still take normal arrows. You can use elementals on them, but you're just wasting your magic.
Pogi gonna need an arrow refill.
Yep, we're going to be very likely seeing some snot arrows on Pogi's side.
Oof.
And by very likely, I mean it's a guarantee. There it is.
Some arrows.
Jay gonna attempt to snipe the birds. We're trying to do a slightly different big key setup. We're gonna actually hop onto the wall a little bit earlier, I imagine.
Yeah, this is the one I know. The one Pogi attempted, that one I haven't seen someone attempt that close. Unless Jay's just prepping one now.
So interestingly, as far as I'm aware at least, the way Pogi did it was sort of the original way, and then the way Jay's doing it is a bit more of the newfangled way. As long as the burb doesn't troll you too much, it stops you from having to kill the BMOS and it lets you get through the wall a little bit earlier. You don't have to travel up this staircase so much.
And just like that, Pogi finishing the Godin boss fight.
Yeah, but mechanically it's pretty much the same. Sword slash, midair. Get that roll. And as long as your wind is set up correctly, you can usually hit that loading zone with no problem.
Just like that. Very clean big key skips for both players.
Yeah, definitely a lot faster than the hopping across the floating boxes. So I very much agree with the big key skip. Yeah. We're seeing a hand respawn on Jay's side. Unfortunate, just how it kind of goes with Godin. Sometimes he just sort of decides that you're about to catch these hands, no matter what. Ooh, a chance for a double, but not quite hitting it. I appreciate the effort trying it, though. That was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like just enough magic to hopefully get this last hand. But we're actually getting another respawn. Godin being a lot less friendly to Jay today than he was to Pogi. Pogi, meanwhile, retreading some of Jay's ground. We are going to see DRC finally on his side.
Both runners saving one temple for last.
Yeah, that's understandable. I feel like often I like to end on Wind Temple, because usually you're always geared up then.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just what's in the mind.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense to wait until you have light arrows, though, to go ahead and pick it up, so...
Yeah. Just
That's
makes
why I
it
was
a
not
lot.
too surprised to see both of them pop in and out.
Yeah.
Pogi's arrow count is a little low. Definitely enough to shoot down the platform, but not enough to do so comfortably. Gonna have to hit most of these shots.
Ooh, excuse me.
It takes a minimum of 3, so he has 5 misses that he gets.
Ooh.
And unfortunately, DRC is not known for its arrow drops. These bokoblins can occasionally, and there are some higher up in the dungeon, but that's about it.
I think like the only arrow drops you're gonna find here is if they drop the orb.
Pretty
And
much.
I'm pretty sure the skulls right out of this room right here, once you look left, pretty sure have arrows too.
They may only have magic. Pogi having a little bit of trouble with this stick. Gonna go ahead and get that torch lit. Probably wants to make sure to save as many arrows as possible for the platform shot, so even though he could have theoretically fired upon it with fire arrows, not gonna end up being worth.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay's gonna carry Makar most of the way across this room. Makar a little slow on his feet. Opts not to turn off the gales, so we will be seeing some spring storage. If the trees are already up, I think this is a little bit faster, so understandable. Cool trick if you haven't seen it before. You store that spring, and as long as it's not on your screen, it doesn't launch you until it gets loaded back in again. Alright, Pogi has 4 arrows to make 1 more shot on the rope. Hopefully able to get it. That'd be an unfortunate time loss if he has to reload.
One more shot for Pogi.
Very carefully lining it up.
Gets it. Ooh.
With the last arrow, not even worried. I always knew he could do it. Easy peasy. Anyone who said Pogi's not clutch under pressure.
I think this is where Pogi... Egg being a trooper? What? I just like commentating.
And speaking of those skulls, our magic is a little low on Pogi's side. I imagine he wants to pick up just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Leaf is
Just
going to
a-
save us some effort here.
Peace.
Also, real quick, make it known in the chat, big appreciation for our tracker today. Riding it solo for 2, so very, very good.
Looks like Pogi's going to be grabbing the Tingle chest right here.
Yep, gonna get that first bit of cheese.
Statues.
Jay looking for this L slide clip to skip opening the grate here.
Gets it. First try.
Only need a little bit of wind temple, and it's all at the bottom. We're gonna grab our 3rd, very conveniently placed big key today.
Big keys were too convenient.
Yep, except for that Tower of the Gods one, we would have seen no big key skips today.
Yeah.
That's a cool one. It's nice to see it every so often.
Yeah. And Jay's gonna clip into the bottom part of the fan, and he's gonna scale this room real quick.
Well, I'm gonna make a quick pit stop and actually go ahead and take out some of these enemies. So this would be part of the reason why I imagine both runners elected to grab the bow and then peace out, seeing as light arrows were always going to be at Ice Ring today.
Prepping all of the enemies. Probably gonna get bomb storage here.
Probably not just because the big key was in the middle of the hub, but normally would have if you didn't.
And well, songs don't skip. You still need your songs don't skip, so might as well.
No, that's actually where you get another one of those nice Nintendo gaps that they put in, like we saw in the Cabana Maze. You can skip it with just a cute little sidle. Pogi's gonna go ahead and make his way up to the boss over in DRC. And I imagine we'll see the big key chest picked up. I think if you got it instantly, seeing as we need this right side chest, I think you could store just the right side and big key skip and it would be a little bit faster. But if you fail storage too many times, that no longer becomes fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna go ahead and opt to open both of the chests normally. Magtail doing some good defense work again. I hate the fact that Magtail just exists in that room for no other reason, just to be trolly. Yeah, so Jay gonna go ahead and show us off some excellent level design. A very noticeable gap that you can actually just go ahead and sidle through. I'd say noticeable, not that noticeable, but from that angle, you start to realize just how wide that gap is.
Yeah.
Fun fact, not fixed in the HD version. Still exists.
Fun fact, thank you, Nintendo. Alright. Jay's gonna be doing Mulgara. We're gonna get some nice music.
We got bosses on both sides today.
Boss finishing at the same time. Oof. Yes, all the cat jams.
I'm gonna be looking for that tongue snipe. I wonder if he'll go for the double. Doesn't get the first one, unfortunate. Still have never seen a double Mulgara tongue snipe. Apparently it's real. I don't know if I'm a believer yet, but apparently it's real. Pogi getting the armor off of Goma. Goma, unfortunately, with the back to Pogi, so going to turn around and attack immediately. Kind of unfortunate when that happens.
And just like that, Jay and Pogi finishing their bosses in sync.
Boss death cutscenes on both sides for our runners. And with this, Jay is going to pick up his 8th piece of the Triforce, Pogi his 7th.
What Pogi needs right now is those 2 sword upgrades.
Yep, so we will have to see him make a trip out to Northern. I believe that's the one that he did not pick up yet. In the overworld, that is.
Mm-hmm. They were in sync.
Warping together. Shows you how much closer the warp is at DRC as opposed to Wind Temple, depending on where you spawn in that room. And a very conveniently placed Wind Temple means that all Jay has to do is go ahead and turn right around and head right into Hyrule.
F is for friends who do stuff together.
As Pogi sails his way off to Northern. Grab that last overworld check before heading off to Wind Temple.
Exactly, he Wind Waker dived. He doesn't need shards.
The next big skip to be found for Wind Waker. With barrier skip behind us. Hyrule Wind Waker dive one, please.
Wind Waker dive right into Ganon's tower. There's gotta be a way.
Barrier break on Jay's side at about 1:03. 3:30, so very solid into Hyrule. His execution seemed very clean. We'll be interested to hear if he has any self-criticisms at post-round. Of course, gotta close it out well, though. Puppet Ganon is not free, but I imagine he's faced him a couple times, so hopefully won't troll too much. Although, for Pogi's sake, we're gonna have to hope that something goes horribly, horribly wrong, as Pogi is behind the entirety of Wind Temple at this point.
Speaking of Wind Temple, Pogi re-entering Wind Temple. Jay bonking on the center platform real quick.
And looks like Pogi's probably going to opt to turn off the gales and just sail across the room. Using Makar to press this button. Hopefully Makar manages to make the jump all the way up there. He does. Phantom Ganon with the light arrows, no problem. Has enough magic to probably get a pretty clean climb. There's a decent double shot lineup on the two moblins, but if you stop for magic, it gets tricky. Let's see if we're able to get it. I'm not sure if Jay goes for it or not. Ooh, that one aggroed pretty early, but still gets it. Nice shot.
Very, very good.
The perfect amount of magic with that double shot. Says 24 arrows is enough, and gonna go ahead and enter Puppet. It's very, very clean staircase.
And if anybody was here earlier, we saw what Jay did. Anybody that watched the bi-weekly race.
Yeah, very good player. Gonna make Puppet again and probably look not too bad of a boss. And that as that PG one goes down in a very quick time. I think that was about 5 shots. And they were all pretty quick, so.
He's too good.
This is very solid. Pogi gonna grab the small key over here in Wind Temple. Luckily, at least one of the small keys was not too bad.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to go ahead and just grab it.
Now it's time for Spider Ganon.
Magic's gonna be a bit tight. I don't think we're gonna be able to see any double crit. Gonna want to grab some, hopefully, from these keys if they're kind.
Oh, very good.
At least one big drop. Gonna get 2. Nice. And gonna go ahead and hit the double shot. Very solid PG2. And got a nice fat magic refill. Magic running a bit low, gonna opt for some bombs. Don't want to have to worry about more rando drops. And gonna close out that fight. Very, very clean Puppet Ganon. They don't come too much better than that. So unfortunately for Pogi, we're gonna have to see something go tragically horrible in Ganon. But with the way Jay's been playing, I'm not sure if that's gonna end up happening.
Yeah. But again, we shall see. Commentator's curses.
Taking a little slip off the rope. I'm just going to climb it normal the rest of the way. As Pogi goes ahead and clears out the basement room. Always hate to have to do this room, but, you know. At least it's spoiler log. You know it's something good. You're not going through the effort for nothing. It feels so bad to get a pair from this room. Ooh, not quite enough magic to get back. The grapple skip trolling Jay. Gonna clip through the chain. Gonna have to climb all the way back up. I'm not sure if Jay is usually a runner to check and see where his opponents are at.
No.
But may also just like to go for the grapple skip no matter what. Good practice and all that.
Good mindset, too.
Looks like he may opt to skip it this time around. We do have the grapple, so it's not a requirement to do that grapple skip. I'm gonna go for the slightly slower but still fast alternative of that cute setup. Pogi had a little bit of issue getting across the room, but managed to not take a huge time loss there, falling all the way down. And Ganon for Jay. I wish somebody could teach me to quick spin like that. I'm so jealous. I hate having to do Ganon without soup because my quick spins are bad.
Oh. I like the little jump jaded. Just spin the stick.
If only it was that easy.
Kind of doobie.
It is and it isn't, I guess.
Yeah.
At least for me.
And Zelda's nice for us today.
A nice stab to the forehead and GG for Jay. A
GG.
really, really solid time on kind of an awkward seed. Not the most awkward, but having to go that far out of the way just to get the leaf.
It was an uncomfortable seed. You should have waited 3 more seconds. Jay just made my dog lie. Oh. And I think that's
Hello,
Jay.
hello, Jay. GG's. Excellent race. How do you feel about that seed? How do you feel about that leaf?
The leaf was really disgusting. I double dipped Wind Temple, which wasn't necessary, but I think it was faster because it saved 2 warps and it let you do the basement room early, or like basement room with light arrows. Then
With the light arrows, yeah. No, those bows were kind of annoying. I agree. I was looking at the seed and I'm like, ooh, those hard required light arrows on Ice Ring.
But it was nice, even though I couldn't use warp pots because Forsaken Fortress and Earth Temple weren't in. It's like Tower of the Gods. I just saved it for last, so I could go right from there to Hyrule.
Yeah, I thought that ordering looked pretty good for you, especially since all the dungeons had were just lots of shards. So
Yeah, DRC had 4 shards, including the
yeah,
boss.
it's kind of nuts actually.
Yeah. Good placement.
Did you at any point consider getting the other wallet, or was it a pretty quick write-off for you?
I haven't learned that strat yet to get up there with chest storage. Because the other wallet was outset mail, and leaflet you can't have leaf before that. Or no, the other wallet was Ghost Ship, and the Ghost Ship chart was at outset
Was that
ferry.
outset? Yeah.
And you
Yeah, I
can't
don't know.
have
I
leaf
don't know
before
that
then.
strat to get up there either.
So yeah, you need to do chest storage up. Pogi didn't do that, did he?
No. You both went for the same one. Yeah, I figured, but
Did Pogi get the skull hammer?
No.
you both skipped the skull hammer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming
that
he didn't do the same thing that I
Convenient
did.
gap at the at the cabana. Yeah, you both went for that same wallet. I just wasn't sure. I figured that was not the move. I wouldn't have gone for it, but
I
picking up
initially
the
looked at
mirror
it,
shield.
but if you could have gotten the early Ghost Ship chart, it would have been fine because you had to go to Crescent anyways.
Mm-hmm.
But since you just couldn't because it was locked behind that.
Yeah. Oh, and then
Yeah.
you'd have to go across Ghost Ship without the leaf too. Which, since the bows were kind of, I mean, the first one's not too bad, but
I didn't check where Tuner was. It was banned this race, and I don't have access to it. But
oh, good point. Yeah. No, I'm not sure where it was either.
oh no, you're not doing it.
Usually
It's
I
Linda
like
and
to
Antone.
Ooh, yeah, no, thank you. Especially since you didn't actually need the Pictos.
Yeah.
Yep, and no thoughts to saving Grandma, did you? Those bottles weren't
No.
exactly pleasant either. You tell me you didn't want to get all the statues to get the bottle that Ankle had? Can't believe it.
Ankle bottles, Pog.
I just thought that was funny. Just like, yeah, no thank you. But yeah, did you have any thoughts about like any execution that you weren't super thrilled with?
I missed grapple skip somehow, and then the only other thing that I can think of really is Goma trolling me and not getting hookshotted.
Oh, sure.
Other than that, I was pretty happy with the double storage super swim.
Yeah, that was really clean. I was gonna say, because on my end, I wouldn't have too much that I would have had to say. So I just wasn't sure if you had any like personal self-criticisms. Everyone's always their worst critic, right?
Yeah.
So, also, it was really interesting seeing that the low angle shots on Calademos. That was really tight.
Oh yeah.
Normally people just kind of fire off a couple at the beginning if they even go for it, but actually managing to pull that off, it was really cool.
Well, like the day I found that glitch, I spent like 6 to 8 hours on just like with save states fighting that boss. So
Save states, potentially wireframes. Yeah, I've kind of looked at it. It's iffy, but not too terrible. I've never
Yeah.
thought about getting that low, potentially avoiding some of the annoying attacks. That was really smart.
well, you actually like need that low angle for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it needs to be that very low angle.
I guess
There's
that's what
3
happens
different
when you try to
cycles.
clip arrows through.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if it works.
Yeah. Anyway, Pogi making his way into Ganon. I'm gonna see Phantom Ganon in a second. Very clean Wind Temple on his side.
Yeah. And Pogi making his way through, just grabbing some extra magic real quick. Oh,
Yeah, I'm
wait,
trying to
I'm
think
on-
of some of the routing differences that would really given you that edge. I honestly think that Super Swim over to Thorned bought you quite a bit of time. The double storage. It's not an
Yeah.
easy strat. You made it look a lot more free than it is.
Well, it's a lot harder if you don't have the bow or anything to kill the choose with.
Oh, to deal with the chews, yeah, the trolley chews.
Because
'Cause
like
then you can't move.
Well, you can't get hit by them, is the thing. If you get hit by those chews, then you lose storage, because it stores the animation of you
That's
getting,
right.
like...
That's
Yeah.
right. Plus it trolls with the L targeting a little bit,
Mhm.
depending if you need that to actually navigate to the chest. But
Yeah.
it shows
Well-
you how much I've attempted double storage. I've attempted it like a couple times for fun and been like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you also have to be careful with your angle when you, like, first initially pull out the Wind Waker. That's why, like, I faced the other way, and then I didn't, like, roll in. I did a side hop in, rather than just, like, facing that other way initially and then just jumping in. Because I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, Wolfer probably knows this better than me, but the angle that you, like, pull out the Wind Waker in determines a lot with how you move.
I wouldn't know, but I could believe it. Whenever you start getting too glitchy with this game, it can get kind of particular like that. Anyways, we got PG1 for Pogi. Looking very clean as well. Magic is a bit low, though, so I don't think we're going to be going for a double shot off the bat.
He might still attempt it, but it may not confirm or connect.
The only item I was considering getting is the boomerang. The
Yeah,
boomerang
'cause
was on Wind Shrine.
Because the only what was your reasoning and even thinking on getting boomerang?
Cali demos.
Yeah,
So
just
didn't
kind
work
of free.
fast.
I wasn't
Okay.
sure if either person would go for it either. Yeah, Wind Shrine's not that far out of the way, but you didn't need to go to that tile for anything else, so...
You needed to warp there to go to Fire
For
Mountain.
fire, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Pogi getting Crypt Shot.
Very solid. Only one big magic drop, though.
You should have enough.
Yeah, it's enough if you... As long as you make sure to hit all of your shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has bombs, so...
Mm.
Although I do know Pogi likes to meme about bomb strats.
A snake again in time.
Yeah, I think, like, in the first 10 minutes of routing, or first 20 minutes, because, like, the first 10 minutes I don't actually route. But, like, initially I rerouted, like, 3 times, because I was initially going to get, like, power bracelets at Choo Choo Cave, because they were right on the way, and then I realized, like, I could just not get Skullhammer.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was saying, I wasn't sure if either one of you would pick it up. I figured probably not. Sometimes if it's that free, I know I'll grab it just because occasionally it saves that little bit of time. You don't have to pause to pull out bombs and you don't have to get knocked on your butt, but that may also just be me not being a good runner.
I mean, yeah, it
Also,
feels like...
Forests are just not giving Pogi magic right now. Feeling that lack of soup. And there we go. We're gonna finish off Puppet Cannon.
Because, like, when you really think about how long it takes to get the power bracelets, it's like, you have to come from the first chest. So it's like, what, 15 seconds? And I feel like 3 equips is just faster than getting that.
Yeah, probably. It's always just those little questions, though, that you're, you know. I was saying that's what separates the good runners from the great runners. Just knowing, like, okay, that's probably not worth. Oh, that is or that isn't going to be that much faster.
Loki getting great distance off the rope strat. Only a couple seconds of climbing that rope.
Yeah, health is looking a little low, so I imagine we'll refill
Oh yeah.
in the center. Maybe not, though. Could go for it.
You could YOLO Ganon and just not get hit.
I thought about it for a second, but that may have just been muscle memory kicking in, I think.
Could have been.
Wait, so how late did Pogi get hookshot? Did he get it, like, pretty early on or later?
Oh, it was after his first dungeon. After
Okay.
Yeah, he got it much later. He took storage off of one of the platforms and made his way to Thorn.
Yeah, because I pretty much cleared all of the overworld, then just did all the dungeons outside of the one thing with Wind Temple.
Yeah, I think he grabbed it before going into any of the dungeons besides, I think, Wind Temple. You both did the same pop in, grab, peace out strat for that bow.
I mean, yeah, your guys' routes were very similar. It was just Pogi just went to different locations before. Like, you guys just... Some of the locations were swapped. Which is about it.
I like these colors on Ganon. The green and the pink.
It's an interesting
It's very
color.
not Ganon, but it has something different. It's kind of fun.
It's Zelda being awakened.
Dang, Zelda taking your sweet time to fire that shot. Sometimes it just be that way.
And Pogi finishing with 1 hour, 23 minutes. 18 seconds.
GG's to Pogi.
GG's to everyone. It looks like we might get Pogi in here. Oh no, Pogi missed. Oof. Happens, buddy.
No, Pogi's saying it was close to a PB, unfortunately. Honestly, it's still a really solid run.
Solid work from both people.
Yeah, I just think there were certain strats that you did, Jay, that were just a little bit quicker.
Was there anything noticeable other than the double storage super swim?
That was one of the big ones, because then Pogi had to go really far out of his way to skip Skullhammer. Not really far, but a lot further. So, hello, Pogi.
Hello,
GG.
Pogi.
Oh, hey.
How are you feeling after the race?
I mean, I could have beat by the second, but Zelda did not shoot her arrow, so...
She really took her time on that one.
It took like 70 years to shoot her arrow, so I literally missed the PB because of Zelda's arrow. Either way, GG. So I do have a comment. I was sure you were gonna 206, and I'm wondering why you didn't 206. Like, that was my prediction, at 206. I imagined the seed was tenable. Like, I honestly thought that this seed was sub 110.
Probably. I don't know, it was close. I missed grapple skip and I fell down once, so there's like 30 seconds.
I think it's a little bit more, considering the time you spent setting it up, I think. Like, going up all the way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, depending. I know there was a little bit of time getting that double storage set up as well.
Yeah, I was feeling storage a lot at that spot for some reason. It was weird.
So, hard to say. But yeah, what did you think of the seed, Pogi? We were kind of talking about that, those bows and those wallets. Specifically that lead.
I feel like I've avoided a lot of warps, and I'm happy with that because that was what I was trying to do. I feel like the seed wanted you to warp way too much, and like, I never liked that idea. So that, like, every time that there's like a whole lot of warps that I have to do, like, logically, I kind of try my best to go against it. And I think I did like a good job, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like there's some stuff that I could have routed better.
The only thing that was kind of gross for me was I had to warp to Windfall once to go to Northern Ferry, then I had to warp to Windfall to go to Poprint, and Eastern Ferry, then I had to warp to Windfall to go to Poprint again for the side aisle. That was the only, like, annoying thing with warps for me.
I don't even remember like the reasons I made a couple of choices. I just remember that I made a lot of choices that that I was very doubtful about. Like, a lot. For example, like, I was debating so much and actually skipping the the skull hammer because I didn't know if it was. I'm pretty sure like it was way faster to get it. I mean, way faster to skip it. But at the same time, I was debating it because I have never done the private oasis thingy, like the cabana skull hammer skip. Which
Yeah,
was
we
really
saw you
odd.
kind of practicing that as we were gearing up.
Yeah, the problem is I didn't even know the location, so I don't even know the maze. So at the end, I got it like last minute, like literally 1 minute before the race started, and I was like, okay, good, I can do this.
Yeah, I was gonna say when race time came, it gave you no problems. So that
Yeah,
was
Yeah, I was very happy about that. I know I could have done better a lot of things. I'm not sure rounding wise what I could have done better. I didn't have a chance to verify everything. I'm almost all the time take the last like 10 minutes to review the seed and then another 5 to practice. But then my Wii cable decided to not work. Like the video cable, so I spent like 10 minutes trying to fix it too.
Gotcha.
And so I couldn't double check the seed. So I kind of like just this is one of the first seeds that I run that I am almost 100% lineal about. Like, I mean, I didn't change anything about my rounding. Not even the. I was wondering if at the last minute I was gonna not go to the double dip wind temple, which I know it was weird.
No,
But
it was good.
yeah,
you did the same thing.
You both double dipped it. Yeah,
It
popped in,
actually
grabbed
it actually saves 2 warps if you do it like that. Otherwise, you have to leave Tower of the Gods later. Assuming
Yeah.
you win Temple last also, and just took that to Hyrule.
No, yeah, I did wind temple last. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, yeah, okay. Then that makes me feel a lot better about it because I was debating it so much.
Yeah,
but
it saved 2 warps, and you don't have to do the bottom room without light arrows.
out light arrows. Yeah.
So when running it, I felt super comfortable because I was running the seed all the way through, like as in my route. Like I ran it exactly as my route, as I showed it on my route, which was kind of like as I wrote it down. I'm sorry, which was pretty comfortable because I'm always rerouting in the go, and this time it was like no, I felt really comfortable with my route, even though it felt kind of sketchy because of all the warps I had to do.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, we were saying, I think one of the biggest ways that Jay made up like pulled ahead was doing double storage, going to grab the chest on Crescent, and then taking that to Thorned.
Oh, oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty slick.
Yeah, that is a pretty good one. Holy crap, Jay. I mean, I guess if I had bombs by that point, I probably would have just literally gotten storage off of a bomb drop, but I don't think that would have been weird. I don't know.
You would have You could have, because you could have done that, but then you would have also wanted a super swim because otherwise you're sealing like 4 quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd want a super swim back to Windfall for the area fills. Then you have to get storage to store the chest, and then storage again to with chest storage on top of it.
So the only I had originally a lot of super sims that I wanted to plan, like on my first like what I do when I route is I type down everything I want to do in which order, and then I decide like, oh, I can connect this with a super sim instead, and blah blah. So in my first one, I had like a bunch of super sims that I wanted to do, but then I realized, like, for me at least, it was better to just, for example, go up to Crescent and use Crescent to go. Use Crescent to go all the way down to Paw Print, and then because I was gonna have to go back anyway, so it was Crescent, Paw Print, and then Eastern because I had to go there eventually, and I just chose to do it at that moment. Although now that I think about it, what was on Eastern? I can. Oh no, there was a Pearl. No, I wanted that Pearl. Yeah, no, I wanted that Pearl. Forget about it. I thought it was like a shard or something. If it was like a shard, then it would have been better to get it after doing whatever was on Popper Inside L. I think it was DRC. No, it wasn't DRC. I don't remember.
Yeah, swords and shards you can just kind of wait until the end to route them and then route them at the end.
Yeah, and all the shards were in dungeons this time. Holy
Yeah, it's kind
crap.
of crazy. Dragon Fruit.
Absolutely every single shard was in dungeons. Jesus.
It was also interesting how convenient all the boss keys were.
Yeah, I was
for the
proud
gods.
of both of you. Nobody stored a boss key skip or anything. That was good.
I was
Yeah, I didn't
considering
see
doing
it.
it in Forbidden Woods, just because I don't know if that interaction is how it works, but I was considering taking the one from Forbidden Woods to Tower of the Gods, if that works. I don't know if that's a thing, though.
I'm almost 100% sure it's not like that.
The
Yeah.
big keys to another from like transporting a key to another temple. That's what you mean?
Yeah.
Or no?
Doing
Oh,
key
no, you
storage
cannot do
with
that.
the big key, yeah. The only
No, that
the only
doesn't
one
work.
I was wondering is I wasn't sure if either one of you would try to store the right side chest at DRC to skip opening both of them, but I think that's only barely faster if you get it right away.
Yeah, I for some reason suck at that storage spot, so I get
You
like
mean
one
the-
thing really every time.
The one on the RC, like the one on the RC, if it gets a key, I think it's faster because you don't have to do the setup. You don't have to. You just open the door. You don't have to get storage. Like
Yeah, I think
it's
if you
kind of
really
counterproductive.
execution, it would still be very close. So, I think totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
It
was
was-
a very close race overall, guys. Like, definitely props to both of you for all of the things. I mean, Pogi, I know you're gonna go back and watch the restream. You should be very proud of some of the tricks you pulled off today.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Shiro.
Hi. So I was just gonna jump in though because I wanted to give you time to set up for the next restream,
Yeah. Thank you.
which is going to be happening very shortly. So we've already opened up the room. They're in the planning phase. So coming up in about 30 minutes is going to be PK and Elijah. They will be here on ZSR2. So you don't have to go too far, although I will send a raid to main ZSR for the Season 4 first qualifier for the Ocarina of Time Randomizer tournament. But there's definitely more spoiler log tournament action coming up very shortly. So, and Pogi's restreaming it.
Yeah.
So, busy night for you.
Ah.
But I want to give a shout out again to our two runners, Pogi and jwiste. GG's. Congrats moving forward in winners bracket. Pogi, it's not over. You just moved down the lower bracket, so don't give up the fight. We believe in you.
I'm actually surprised that I'm not bummed out, but I think I just played it really. I just played my game, you know. And also the next any of the next runners could be my next opponent. So,
One of the most
Moncas.
important things about like playing any game any really competitive game, I mean, the Wind Waker, I guess it's competitive because it's speedrunning, but you can't really focus on things out of your control. You just have to focus on things in your control.
Yeah, I agree.
Very true. That's words to live by. It's good advice. So also shout outs to your commentators tonight, Egg and Claire. Awesome job. Thank you very much for keeping us hype and informed as we went through this spoiler log race. And our tracker, who has now gone to bed, but we thank Tom Talk for double tracking because I was busy race monitoring another match. But big
Night.
Pog. Thank you for double tracking. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
And with that, like I said, I'm gonna send you over to Zelda Speedruns main. However, come back for 9:20 so that we can see the next spoiler log tournament race, PK Slam and Original Elijah. And
See you then.
with that,
Bye.
hope everyone has an excellent night, and we'll see you shortly.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.